Thank you so much for being with us today. We are so honored to have you with us because what a movie. When you get something like this, you must think, I have to do this, right?
Oh, totally. The minute I read the script, I was like, "Oh, yes. I love it. I think it encompasses so many different dynamics. I think there's a real rug pulling for the audience from the beginning of the movie to all of the final acts. I mean, it's just very well written."
Absolutely. And then, of course, what was it? The script is really incredible. What is it that was the thing that grabbed you? Was there a certain line or something where you're just thinking, all right, this is it?
I think for me, it was definitely the story. I talked to JM and he's a huge fan of like 70s revenge kind of movies. And I am too, most definitely. I grew up loving the Billy Jack movies and just really kind of diving into the reluctant hero, right? And I think that's very much so what this movie kind of breaks down to with Billy Magnuson's character. And what I wanted to bring to it was I wanted it to feel like Emma was in a romantic comedy
Yeah.
and she got the guy and she's planning the wedding and they're talking about having babies and like all the
Yeah.
things that go into like the beginning of something so that when that ultimately doesn't happen, I wanted to throw the audience and it read that way, so I knew that that
Yeah.
was really important for me to kind of bring across.
Yeah, and then of course, it's one of those ones. There are a lot of shocking and surprising moments in this, but I think that sometimes in this darker material, it's actually sometimes more fun of a set because you have to keep it light. Was that the case here?
Oh, totally. Especially, when I die. Like I was cracking jokes and trying to have as much fun with that as possible because when that red light comes on and they call action, I'm dying. Like it's very scary. And so I need to have like a break in that action. And I think that Emma really kind of did encompass that comedic relief. And so it was nice to kind of sit in that energy and kind of bring that home so that when she does ultimately leave us, she is very much so missed.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you've had such a cool career, and people look up to what you do, and they think, "See, I want to do what you do," but you just kind of make it look easy. So, what kind of advice would you give to somebody that wants to follow in your footsteps and do what you do so well?
I think it's really important, and thank you for that. I think it's really important that you have to love what you do. No matter what you do, you have to love it. And there are no small roles. I think it's really important to note that because I think a lot of the time it's like, I want to be number one on the call sheet. I've done it before. It's exhausting. It's really stressful. Sometimes you just want to be like a really great tree. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so you got to love what you do. And I really love what I do. I've never been able to do anything else. And I think that's the most important thing. Love what you do. Keep showing up no matter what.
Yeah, well said. So my co-host is Drew Pearson, one of our great Dallas Cowboys who caught the Hail Mary and went the Hall of Fame. It's the 50th anniversary of the Hail Mary. So we got to ask you your Hail Mary moment, the moment in your life or career you just had to go for it and it worked out for you.
Um, I really think that oh, that's such a great question. I think that playing Storm was a real Hail Mary for me. Uh, I auditioned for it. I didn't think I was going to get it. I was really strapped for cash at the time, and I felt like I just seemed a little too desperate in my auditions. And I remember we did the test for it, and again, I was strapped for cash, so I ended up stealing a lot of craft services and that for a few days. But like in getting that role, I was able to kind of jump into it and shave my head and become someone that is completely and utterly different than who I am and have an accent and speak Farsi and all of the things that kind of all came together. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so what is it that you keep in mind that kind of keeps you on the right path always, especially in movies that are tough like this?
I think it's important, that I find a level of activism in everything that I do, especially in today's day and age. And I think a lot of the time my casting can be a form of activism, but also I love to be a part of stories that change people's minds. I don't know a lot of people from the Ozarks, I'm going to be honest with you. So being able to dive into that and to learn more about them for this role, for this movie, and then seeing it all unfold through JM's vision and perspective, we get to change people's minds. And Arkansas isn't just a bunch of country bumpkins. Like it's so much more than that. And it's so beautiful. And it's just dying to be told. The story is just right there on the page. And that's really exciting for me as an actor.
Absolutely. And what was the moment on the set where you're kind of looking around, just going, "Man, I get paid for this. This is great."
I think it was definitely when I was dying.
Yeah,
That was so much fun because I'm like, wow, we get to play make believe for a living, and it's more than that. It's technical and it's a job and it's work, but I wouldn't have it any other way, and I really do feel so fortunate that I get to do that.
yeah. And I know depending on what you've been through or who like you may take something different out away from this movie. What is it that you're hoping that people will think about or talk about? Because it's almost impossible not to talk about it with somebody.
Yeah, I think this is a lot of the time we've been describing this movie as like a revenge film, but I think it's an anti-revenge film, right? I think that in no case has violence solved an issue. Like it just doesn't. And what I love is the honesty of that perspective in that conversation in this film. This isn't just a revenge film. It's a suicide.
Mm,
And I think we really see that in Billy Magnuson's character Lucas and how he handles this situation. Revenge is never the answer, but if there is going to be revenge, these violent acts are going to have violent ends. And I really do love that nobody wins in this movie. Violence cannot solve violence. And I know that Lucas knows that. He knows
yeah,
that this isn't going to solve anything, but it's the choice that he makes. And I think, if there's a water cooler question, on the tips of everyone's tongue, it's when something is that means everything to you is taken away from you. What the fuck would you do?
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, well said. Well, I know that a different thing that we don't really always grow up with, or at least not in acting school, is how to deal with social media. But you deal with it so well, and so you've been able to not
You
only promote
think?
this, yeah, but not only able to promote this film, but like we also get to hear some great music out of you too. So it's kind of a joy, right?
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. Social media is something that I think is fun. It's not what I want to do as a profession,
Yeah.
and so I try and keep my social media as human and personable as possible. I don't want
Mhm.
to sell people anything, and I like to let my work speak for itself.
Yeah.
And I think that this movie very much so speaks for itself.
Absolutely. Does this mean we'll get some music from you here pretty soon?
I mean, I'm always writing music, but
Yeah.
right now I'm kind of diving into writing and directing. And so I'm really excited for that new chapter in my career
Uh,
for sure.
that's great. Well, last thing, what can we expect from you next? Is there any other things we can look forward to? Because after this, can't wait to see what you do.
Yeah, I just finished editing my first short that I wrote, directed, and star in. And it's a really beautiful story about a single mother with a child on the spectrum and how she handles all of the curveballs that come with having a child with disability and raising them on your own.
Mm,
And I just really love telling real life superhero stories. And I think that single moms are literally superheroes. And so that's what's next for me is I want to start telling more stories, having a little bit more creative control and being a part of conversations that really interest me.
that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for making this film. We're going to tell everyone to check it out, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
Hey,
Paul.
thank you so much. All right, bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.